Hey, welcome back to another episode of Gilded Shadows. Let's pick up right where we left off with our ex-boyfriend. I can't remember the voice I gave him. It's been a little while since I've played this game because I've been sick and I've had issues with talking. The videos that I've uploaded up until this point were previously recorded, so yeah. I'm just gonna pick a voice and go with it. Sorry, Morgan. I missed you. I wasn't considering where we were. Dude, that's not even the point, though. Listen, I only came down to say hello because I volunteered to oversee your research team when I saw your name on the list. I didn't come down here for this. Can we at least meet for dinner later? I have so many things I want to ask. So many things to tell you. Really, in the past year of radio silence, you couldn't have done that at any point? I don't know. I have to check my schedule. The door behind me slid open, and I fled into the lift. Trent tried to follow me, but I planted a hand squarely on his chest to stop him entering. Yes, that's right, Morgan. You set that boundary and you keep it. Agents only. And you need to finish checking in. You can't leave your luggage in the middle of the lobby. He glanced back over his shoulder, and I took the opportunity of him being off guard to give him a slight push backwards, just to allow the door to close. And that was the end of that. I'd spent the entire way back up to my flat panicking. I didn't expect to be reprimanded for that, but it didn't stop my worrying about it. And I had to file a report when I mentioned not only our history, but also that he had kissed me upon seeing me again. Ooh, that's awkward. I mean, it's bad enough that he just took that liberty and, did not even check in with her about, whether or not she wanted that, but now she has to put it in her report. I had been tempted to leave it out, but considering how many people saw it, what was the point? Not to mention the fact that everything that went on in public spaces in this building was recorded anyway. Ooh, I didn't think about that. So everyone got to read about my past relationship drama and how it might affect my assignment. The council, I assumed, Magnus, Vaughn, Caleb, Ari. Oh. Somehow that last one bothered me the most. I don't blame you, girl. How humiliating. Before I even realized what was happening, my world tilted and my back hit the mat with a heavy thump. Did he just knock us over? Oh, another CG! Oh my gosh, hang on. Look at this! This is so pretty. Oh my gosh! Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm totally geeking out, but this is such a great CG. Ari was crouching over me, pinning me to the floor, and our sparring match was over. Your loss. Sorry? His expression softened a little, and for a long moment there was only silence, punctuated by our breathing. You're distracted today, Morgan. I know, I'm sorry. I'll try to focus better. This is so great. I love this so much. Okay. Neither of us moved, even though his grip on me eased. Somehow the air felt heavy, thick with tension that wasn't from my being distracted. I thought he would say something else. But an image of Vaughn popped in my head right at that moment. Ari sensed it too because he was on his feet in an instant. Oh, Vaughn, you have the worst timing. Girl. He offered me a hand with which to pull myself to my feet right as Vaughn came inside the room. Girl, just could you not have waited like 2 minutes? Ari swiftly walked to where our water bottles were waiting. I stood there trying to shake off the strange tension from that moment. I couldn't decide if I should be grateful or regretful Vaughn had showed up when she did. Definitely regretful. Definitely regretful, okay? Then again, as soon as she opened her mouth, I decided to be regretful. Morgan, I just read your report. Why didn't you tell me what happened when we talked last night? And then she's gonna bring it up in front of Ari. Well, I'm not surprised she's yelling at me about it. Sorry about that. I was still processing. I wasn't trying to hide it or anything. It just threw me a little. I needed some time to think about it. As soon as she reached me, she gripped my shoulders tightly, worry written on her features. I thought it was weird you turned Mara down and I for dinner last night. Are you really okay? Yeah, I am really okay. Do I need to kill him? I can kill him. Please do not murder anyone, Vaughn. I can't believe he did that. I want to say I can't either, but it wouldn't be true. Regardless, it wasn't that big a deal. It is a big deal. You don't ghost someone for a year, then kiss them without consent. I don't disagree, but I guess they figured I would be fine with it. The last year aside, we dated for 2 years prior. Do not make excuses for him, Morgan. It's been a whole year. Vanessa, I hope you realize you're interrupting us. Deal with it, Night Boy. This is important. Even Morgan said it was not a big deal. I'm sure your complaints about finding out what happened at the same time as the rest of us can wait. Oh, this is so awkward. No. I definitely deserve proprietary information. Thank you very much. She jerked her thumb towards Ari, giving me a bewildered look. Can you believe this guy? Without thinking, I embraced her tightly. Whoa, hey, you sure you're okay? Honestly, Vaughn is really growing on me. I wasn't sure what to make of her in the beginning, but she is a really good friend. Um, Sometimes she makes me want to, be invisible, like the last episodes, a few episodes back when she asked those pointed questions. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I think she's great. I released her, still smiling. Yes, I am okay, I promise. But thank you for worrying. Well, of course I'd worry, unlike some people. I never said I wasn't also concerned. Okay, he's given the raised brow again. I'm I had a I got the tip off that I needed to pay attention to the raised brow when I was playing, as far as like learning how to read Ari better, and it's making such a huge difference. Listen, it was just a kiss. I've kissed many I've kissed him many times before. It was hardly traumatic. The fact he's so enthusiastic about seeing me kind of works in my favor, right? I mean, forgetting information and all. Yeah, but you don't know why he's so enthusiastic to see you, Morgan. Like, you've got to keep your guard up. Oh my god, Morgan, you're killing me. You don't have to let this guy do whatever he wants to you so you can get information. It's not that kind of mission. I'm not suggesting that I drag him to my flat, tear his clothes off, and seduce him, Vaughn. I just feel it would be counterproductive for me to stay angry about it. Or to have you harass him. We can ask for someone else to deal with him if you need to. It doesn't have to be you. I love Vaughn so much. She is such a good friend, or big sister figure. However you want to look at her, I really like her. I don't think that's necessary. Ari, help me out here. I don't think he's gonna help you out. I intend to avoid discussing it since it didn't seem you wished it. However, Vanessa has a point. You are very preoccupied today, Morgan. Perhaps it has more of an impact on you than you're letting on. Yes, I'm distracted, but that doesn't mean I'm ready to give up on this assignment yet. I haven't even gotten started. Well, you say it was not a big deal. He touched you without your consent. It is all right if that upsets you. You shouldn't try to hide it. You two are blowing this out of proportion. Perhaps you aren't taking it seriously, though. What's that supposed to mean? Vaughn had gone silent, watching Ari carefully. I noticed her eyes fixed on his hands, which were clasped in front of him. What does that mean? It does not mean anything in particular. I apologize. Hang on, let me go. Did I miss something? Oh, okay. Perhaps we should end the session for today. As you have to see the research team again later, You should take some time to meditate and clear your thoughts before then. We can try our session again tomorrow. Wait, I can. Before I could even get the response out, he left. What the heck? I wasn't that distracted. He didn't have to leave like that. Stunned, I stood staring at the door and trying to figure out what had just happened. Did you see that? See Ari ditch me? Yeah. I was standing right here when it happened. Vaughn gave the back of my head a solid thump. Not that wise ass. The way he was tapping on the top of his hand like that. I don't think in the I don't think we could even see his hand, like if I scrolled back. Well, he does that sometimes, right? I catch him doing it sometimes. At his temple, that's right, he did do it on his temple before. At the side of his neck. I guess it's a habit of his. Not exactly as simple as a habit. He does it when he's stressed or upset. It's a technique he uses to keep his emotions in check. That's right, because they haven't had the conversation about him being an FSper yet. And like the difficulty involved in reining in his abilities. They taught it to him to help him avoid accidental use of psi, since getting worked up could cause him to inadvertently teleport someone into orbit or something. Oh jeez. So it's a calming technique. I was not aware of that. Oh, so he was upset. Oh. I think he's pissed. At me? I was just a little distracted. I couldn't even imagine Ari angry. No, I mean he's pissed at Trent. Oh, really? Well, I mean I'm pissed at him too. Though I reckon my reason is probably different. You're really not mad at him? Because it's okay to be mad. I'm mostly just embarrassed. Okay, I'm mad on Morgan's part. I'll be mad for her. I'm still angry about that. I'm trying to show that I'm taking this whole thing seriously, but my first report was a melodramatic retelling of how my boyfriend ghosted me for a year. Yeah, that would be like embarrassing to have to air out all your dirty laundry like that to a whole group of people. And I'm not sure exactly how many people have access to that report, but a lot of people that she, doesn't really know very well. And kissed me in the lobby of Cora Solaris before I could ply him for information to find out if he's up to something shady. And everyone had to read that. The Council, Magnus, Ari. Oh, so it bothers you that Ari read it. Okay, this is another option where we can choose the affectionate or the neutral. I'm gonna save here. In case, my choices lead me to a bad ending. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to answer this because in one hand, it's like it does bother me that everyone read it, right? I mean, there's no getting around that. And this is her job now, whether she wants it to be or not. But it bothers me more that Ari specifically read it. Like, because like we're kind of crushing on him a little bit. Okay, we're gonna go with the top one and just say of course it does, since that is the affectionate option. Of course it does. It's humiliating to have this kind of thing aired in front of him, everyone. When I said it, the words fell a little flat. Actually, the one that bothered me the most was Ari, wasn't it? The realization hit me hard in the gut. I mean, yes, it bothered me that the others read it, but the thought of Ari seeing it and concluding I wasn't serious. Ari shouldn't have to be angry for my sake over something so trivial. None of you should. I noticed that Morgan has this tendency to do the same thing that Nora used to do in Changeling, where she sort of is dismissive of like her own emotions and like when other people try to stick up for her. Well, don't deny he's probably angry for your I don't deny he's probably angry for your sake, but I doubt that's the only reason. You mean he's also mad because I've been distracted all day? I am trying. No, Morgan, that is not what I mean. I mean he's upset Trent kissed you because he's jealous. Jealous? Ari? Uh, the thought sent very surprising butterflies racing through me, but I wasn't sure she was right about that. He is really hard to read, in all fairness. I could be wrong, but it's not like him to care about that kind of thing. I mean, if some guy kissed me, I doubt Ari would even understand there was a reason to be mad. Oh, poor Vaughn. He'd say something ridiculous like, "Is a kiss even that important, Vanessa?" Then he'd go on with, "If you didn't like it, you can forget it happened and move on." Oh, that's harsh. After all, you already broke the man's nose and threatened to rip his arms out of their sockets. Is that not enough? But in your case, he's upset that you don't seem upset. Oh. It's not that I'm not upset about it. Not enough to rip his arms out of their sockets. Apparently, that's the bar. That's the level we need to rise to. I think you're the only person I know that would threaten to go that far. I was silent a moment before sneaking a little look at her. Do you really think Ari's jealous? Why? You want him to be? No, I mean, I don't know. Look how surprised she looks. Nothing about his behavior looks like jealousy to me. Until you showed up, he hadn't even mentioned it. No, but you guys did have that moment before Vaughn showed up. But now she's referencing it. Where there was that strangely tense moment after I'd lost the sparring match. Hey, remember what he told you the first day we met? I'm great at reading people. And I've known Ari since we were both kids. I mean, granted, he's still a lot harder to read than most people, given how much he represses his emotions. But if it annoyed him, you were distracted, he'd just say so. Instead, he seems off. And, when I look back on the last few weeks, he's been a little off kilter since shortly after you arrived. I think she's blushing. Something about my expression must have given away how stupidly giddy that made me. You look happy. I shouldn't be. We haven't even known each other all that long. How long do you reckon it takes? Yeah, so how long have they known each other? I guess it's been, what, a couple weeks? I mean, that's definitely enough to develop a crush. I don't know. Trent and I knew each other for several years. Ari and I have known each other for a month and a half. Okay, a month and a half is a decent amount of time to develop feelings for someone. At least I feel like it is. And now isn't the time for this. I need to focus on this assignment, on training, on... Vaughn covered my mouth with her hand, cutting me off. Morgan, there's never a time for this kind of thing. Ever. This stuff happens when it happens. And take it from me, if you're feeling something, don't wait to act on it. I wonder if she's speaking from experience. Doesn't matter if you're an endgame agent, an archaeologist, or a student. You never know what tomorrow holds. Because she does have her partner. She held up her artificial hand, wiggling her fingers. It clicked softly as she did, one of the blue lights flickering. When we lost Sylvia 10 years ago, I was there. I did my best to save her and the others. In the end, I was the only one left. Oh no! Is that why she has the biokinetic arm? And I lost my legs, lost my arm. More than that, I lost my friends. I almost lost my life. I didn't realize she had lost her legs as well. Oh my gosh, Vaughn. I am so sorry. With surprising seriousness, she gripped my shoulders gently and stared into my eyes. The moment you're certain how you feel, tell him. Don't wait, and don't think you have to know each other for years to fall in love. Emotions don't work that way. She's very right, though. You fall when you fall. And that's all the sage advice you get today. You probably want to clean up before you go meet that dumbass kiss snatcher, and maybe meditate like Ari said, or whatever. So I'll leave you to it. That Trent kid better behave himself today, or so help me. Don't worry, I won't drop my guard this time. It'll be fine. Good. She shot me a grin as she left. See ya, Morgan. And Vaughn, thank you. No problem, girl. Okay, this time I'll be serious. I sternly told my reflection this as I gave myself a last check to make sure I looked more or less like a proper endgame agent. It's so cute how she's taking this so seriously. Though, to be fair, I wasn't not serious yesterday. Stop arguing with me. Me? I wondered if it was bad I was already having complete conversations with myself over this whole thing. At any rate, I'd come up with a plan of action today. I would spend a little time overseeing his little research group and meeting his research partners. Then I'd ask him to catch up over lunch or dinner. I didn't want him to take that the wrong way, so I would have to keep a bit of distance between us while still being friendly. We were friends for several years before starting today, so it should be possible. Theoretically. Then again, we were kids. Oh, so they've known each other since they were kids. Wow. Things were surely different now, but I would have to try. I smoothed my uniform and headed out. You know what though? That makes me even more suspicious that he only got with her because he thought she was an F class Esper. Because if they've known each other since kids, he may have noticed like tells when they were younger. Ari was leaning against the wall outside my flat, clearly waiting for me. What are you doing here? If you wanted to talk, you could have messaged me. I didn't wish to disturb you if you were still meditating. It's not disturbing me, and I stopped meditating an hour ago. I feel I should apologize for ending your training session earlier. Though I wanted to allow you a break, the truth is, I was agitated. Is Ari showing actual emotion? I felt it would be best for me to step away for a while. Are you alright? I am fine. I've spent the last few hours alone, refocusing my thoughts. Perhaps the overworking, as you call it, has begun to take its toll. Everyone calls it overworking, Ari. Perhaps. I was worried you were frustrated about me being distracted today. That is hardly worth being frustrated over. You know what? Okay, I'm not going to talk until the scene is over. He hesitated, looking away as if he wanted to say something but wasn't sure he could. Or sure he should. Are you going to meet with the research team again? Yeah, they're scheduled to be in the research archives soon. I decided I shall go with you this time. That's unnecessary. He accosted you in the lobby. I believe it is. Oh. I wouldn't say he accosted me. Then were you fine with him forcing a kiss on you in front of everyone? No. If you weren't fine with it, and if you didn't consent, then he did, in fact, accost you. I doubt he sees it that way. Does it matter how he sees it? Well, I suspect intent factors in somehow. I'm certain he viewed it as greeting his girlfriend the way he always has. After going a year without contacting you, surely he has lost the right to call you that. Thank you, Ari. Thank you. I know that, and I agree. I just want to stay open minded. I don't have to like it to at least understand where it came from. And I'm not excusing the behavior, so don't think that. I'm still upset at him. But for now, I want to focus on this assignment without getting distracted by Trent being an idiot. I suspect that will be much easier if I'm with you to prevent further idiocy on his part. This is so cute! I sighed. It wasn't that I couldn't understand where he was coming from, but I don't think you should. You're the one who said the overworking is getting to you. Why add something else to your plate? It seems pointless, and I can manage on my own without adding to your workload. I wonder if that's really why she doesn't want him to come, or if she's worried that, um, complications might arise that will make it more difficult to complete her mission. I can find other ways to ease my workload. This, however, I consider important. Oh no! Okay, we can refuse his help, accept his help if he stays out of sight. Oh, that's an odd one. Or just accept his help. Um, Oh. Okay, well, I'm not going to refuse his help because I mean, this is one of the few times when he has, been more open with us about, how he's feeling and taken initiative to do something other than what Endgame tells him to do. Um, and I feel like that would be a little odd if we make him stay out of sight, right? Especially since I don't know the other people on the research team and if like what their Esper abilities are and if they'd be able to sense him or anything like that. I mean, we could just say Arya's another agent with Endgame that's, curious about their research. So let's just accept his help. Though his offer was out of sincere concern, I wasn't sure having him there would be helpful. I also didn't expect I could say no. And I couldn't deny I was pleased he was worrying. But I could only think how embarrassing it would be to have Ari watch me interact with Trent. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like it's going to get really awkward. Even so. Alright, I accept. Because despite everything, the greater part of me understood where Ari was coming from, and I did want him there. Aww. I was happy he was offering. I'll allow you to take the lead. I only intend to observe. If necessary, we can make up a story about my needing to use the archives as well. I could also tell him I wanted to introduce my teacher to him. Knowing his topic of study, it would make sense. And we can say that you wanted to be there since overseeing the research team is my first official assignment. We could make it out to be another part of training. Ooh, good thinking, Morgan. That would also give you a reason to stay close by. If you say you just needed to be there for other work, you won't have a reason to stay with us. Fair enough. That should be an acceptable cover story for my presence. With that decided, Arya and I headed down to the archives together. On the way, I messaged Trent to tell him I'd be there, even though my name was already listed on their schedule as their contact. Having seen him again yesterday, do you still have reservations about his potential involvement in all this? I didn't interact with him enough to form any solid opinions, but he seemed the same as always. I think it's too early to tell. That's not unexpected. I felt you may have had some sort of special insight since you knew him so well in the past. Unfortunately not. I'm hoping if we can spend some time talking about their research in depth, it'll help. They will be here for 6 days. There is still plenty of time. I'm less worried about the time limit and more worried there's nothing useful to learn from him. In some ways, that would be for the best, would it not? It would be for the best for Trent, but not necessarily for Endgame, since it would still leave us without information we need about what's happening on Syrah. That is true, but we have other ways of obtaining information. I'm sure the entire investigation isn't balancing on your retrieving information from Trent. There are teams looking over things in Syrah. They're simply having to they're simply having to proceed with extreme caution. Then, that at least is somewhat comforting. Ooh, look at this. This is a pretty room. So this is the research archives. When we reached the research archives, I, as usual, had to stop inside the door and admire it all. Vaughn had brought me here before, but I just couldn't get over it. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Ari paused, glancing back at me. Morgan? Sorry, this place always takes my breath away. He cocked an eyebrow, glancing around the large room. Hey, you grew up here. I'm sure you're used to it. I've never seen a library this big before. With the net, there wasn't a need for them. Of course, most of the information in here wasn't accessible via the net for security reasons. I suppose it is an unusual sight for those outside this organization. Only a little. So they don't have, probably any libraries at all then, unless, it's in places like these where you have confidential information. I was also always impressed by how busy it was. There were quite a lot of people around, including a table full of junior agents. Please, 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 please don't tell me our frenemy is involved. Casey and Bertie were there, Heidi as well. Can we just make up with Heidi and, have her as our friend. I wasn't sure what they could all be working on. Surely they didn't get homework after they'd become agents. Bertie noticed me watching and brightened as she waved enthusiastically. Laughing, I waved back. You shouldn't encourage her. They're supposed to be working. I'm sure her work will survive a nonverbal greeting from across the room. Whoa, what is this place? Or sorry, whoa, this place is amazing. I stiffened at the sound. Do you see the expression on Ari's voice? I stiffened at the sound of Trent's voice, but did my best to force the tension out of my shoulders as I turned to face him. You're a little early. So are you. He came further inside, and I prepared myself to step out of arm's reach if it looked like he was going to make another move on me. I was already at my side, though. Oh, who's this? This is Ariel Vaughn. He's my teacher. I thought you might be interested in meeting some other agents. Did you just say Ariel Vaughn, the highest ranked knight in Endgame? Is Trent gonna fanboy over him? His loud exclamation caused quite a few people to look our way, including the table of junior agents. Trent, we are in a place where people are working. Maybe lower your voice. And yes, I said that. I wasn't sure he even heard the part where I asked him to lower his voice. His eyes were wide as a huge grin broke across his face. He stepped closer to Ari, holding out a hand. This is incredible. I honestly couldn't imagine getting a chance to meet you while I was here. You know him? Of him? Are you kidding, Morgan? I've talked to you about him before. Uh, he's one of the most well-known fairy espers. Oh, right, because he's really interested in F espers and Ari is one. I should have thought about that. In fact, reading about his story got me interested in this branch of research. His story. Wait, that was. I remembered numerous conversations with Trent gushing over the F class Esper in Endgame, one that had defined almost everything we had learned about them. That's Ari? That was you? I suppose so. I mean, it all made sense. Even Ari had indicated most of what Endgame knew of fairies it learned from him. I just hadn't put it together at the time. Somehow, that made all this way weirder. Yeah, this is not the direction I thought things were going to take. Ari, bewildered, shook Trent's hand, looking like he did not want to at all. Trent was still grinning enthusiastically, even as Ari wrestled his hand away. Is it okay if I ask you a few questions? I mean, my entire path in life was pretty much defined by reading about you. Meeting you like this is amazing. Ari took a half step back, clasping his hands in front of him. Okay, he's agitated again. I don't I don't mind answering a few questions, though much of what I can tell you can also be found in Endgame's records, many of which you should have access to with your current clearance level. Oh, don't worry. Looking up the research and studies done on you is on our to-do list. Studies? What? I mean, it was obvious they'd done studies on him, but saying it like that felt dehumanizing. Still, it can't compare with talking to you in person. Hey, do you think we could get a demonstration of your abilities? Trent, take like 5 steps back, please. I am not certain. My gaze went to Ari's hands. He was rapidly tapping against the back of his left one. Stealing my jaw, I stepped in front of him just as Trent's two companions joined us. Trent, enough. Ari didn't come here to be interrogated by you. I only wanted to introduce him. I can see you're excited, but you shouting at him in a room full of people is not the best way to go about talking to him. Oh, sorry. I tend to be a little over enthusiastic sometimes. I didn't mean to come across too forward. Oh, wow, it's already 34:30. Okay. So we are going to end things here with a couple final thoughts. I love that Morgan is like being protective of Ari. That's something that I feel is sorely lacking in a lot of other visual novels or otames, where like the guy is always the protector, but like the female lead never has the opportunity, or the main character, because they're not always female, but they don't have the opportunity to like step up and also show that like they can be protective and like supportive and all of that. And that's one thing I've always liked about um like Steamberry Studio games, is that like with Nora she was the same way, where um she would be like protective of her love interest depending on the situation. So yeah, I do like that she is like sort of running interference here. I am kind of concerned for Ari though. Like um the way that they use the word studies was just it was really concerning for me. So, yeah, anyway, like I said, I'm going to end things here, but I am loving the story progression. I'm loving the way that they are, that Morgan and Ari's relationship is slowly progressing, and that CG was great. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time.